Hey everyone, welcome back. In the last video, we focused on the types of options that are available to you for investing money and saving for your retirement. In this video, we're going to talk about how to navigate that transition from the accumulation phase of life to the distribution phase of life. Sometimes that mental conversion is not as easy as it sounds, and some advanced preparation and planning can really make a lot of difference to be sure those golden years are really golden. A quick reminder about what we've been aiming for this whole time. If you did it right, all the items on this list are part of your life now. Your smart planning and diligence has paid off and has bought you back your time. Time to spend doing what you want, when you want to do it, and whom you want to do it with. That's a great feeling, a truly wealthy feeling. Here's our list of milestones. Only 2 more to go after this one. From here on out, it's no longer about saving and accumulating, but instead learning to give back to yourself and to those people or causes that you care about. First, let's talk about retirement from a behavioral perspective. Most of us look forward to that day that we can walk away from the daily grind of our jobs and the pressure of making and saving money. It sounds great on the surface, but the rates of depression are often very high in the decade after people retire. Why is that? There may be many reasons. Maybe you had to retire because of a health issue. Maybe your company forced an early retirement before you were mentally or financially ready for it, and then you couldn't find another opportunity because of your age. For many people, their job is their identity and their social outlet. Once they retire, they realize that they don't have any friends, have nothing to do, and no one is coming to ask them for help anymore. They feel worthless and lost. This may be a particularly high risk for people in high-income professions who are used to making a daily impact at their jobs or feel like their careers are a big part of their identity. Some people really hate their jobs and can't wait to retire, but realize afterwards that they didn't have a plan to fill their days with something they like better. Some people thought they couldn't wait to be able to spend all day engaged in their favorite hobby, but when they have the opportunity to actually spend as much time on it as they want, it becomes boring instead of fulfilling. So the important part of planning for retirement is to ask yourself a couple of questions. 1, am I retiring into something or retiring away from something? 2, can I make my retirement years as fulfilling and impactful as my working years were? And if so, how? What really makes me happy? Answering these questions takes some honest introspection, and it takes some preparation. Before you hang it all up, it really helps to know yourself well enough and to know what makes you happy and fulfilled, and then purposefully design your retirement to achieve that goal. The good news is that if you have planned well, retirement does not have to be a single irrevocable event. You can explore options to help you achieve that great balanced life that I'm talking about. One option may be to just slow down your work life and work part-time. A lot of doctors have the option to do this within their current group or specialty. It lets you stay in the game, but opens up more free time to start exploring other things at the same time. You might find that you enjoy your job more if you don't have to do it full time. Some doctors leave their current group and look for a locums contract where they can control their location and schedule and how much they want to work. It might let you travel and still earn money at the same time. Another option is to look for opportunities to volunteer your time or skills for a cause that is meaningful to you and will keep you engaged with others. Also, there are a variety of non-clinical careers in medicine where you can use your expertise, but might be able to work from home or at least not see patients directly. Still, another option if you're tired of medicine but not tired of working is to do what I did and pivot to another encore career. You might find that learning new things and developing new skills is very enjoyable and gives you some renewed vigor to stay in the workforce. When you do decide to retire, what are the implications of the timing of that decision, if any? The biggest one to be aware of is if you choose to retire before that magical age of 59 and a half. That is when the IRS decided that it was okay to withdraw money from your retirement accounts without penalty. If you retire before that and plan on using your tax advantage retirement accounts for income, you're charged an extra 10%. There are some options for you though. One is to build up enough in a taxable account that you can use to fund your early retirement without tapping into your tax advantaged accounts. The other is found in Section 72T of the tax code, which allows you to take out retirement money early using something called substantially equal periodic payments. I'm not going to go into detail on this other than to tell you that the option exists and you can look it up if you're interested. And although I wouldn't recommend it, you could always take out the contributions that you made to your Roth IRA without penalty at any time. Not so for the earnings that have accumulated in that account. Taking those out have rules and penalties that you should be aware of. Other retirement timing implications include Medicare access at age 65 and the start of Social Security income based on full retirement age of 67. I'll talk more about Social Security in a bit. Okay, let's switch gears now and talk about some of the details of distributing your money from your retirement accounts. By the time you reach your retirement age, many people have their investment assets divided into 3 different buckets in varying degrees, and how you start emptying those buckets can make a big difference on what you have left over for your family or charity and how much you might pay in taxes. For most people, the largest retirement bucket is the tax-deferred bucket. This is money that you invested pre-tax into your workplace retirement plan like your 401k or your 403b or 457. Since you didn't pay taxes on that money when you earned it, you have to pay taxes on it when you take it out. The good news is that the money has been allowed to grow tax-free for all those years. For this bucket, the government eventually makes you take money out, even if you don't need it. The government is ready to get paid its taxes. This is called a required minimum distribution, or an RMD. It's calculated based on a life expectancy table called the Uniform Lifetime Table. The age where you're required to start taking RMDs differs right now based on your birth year and on recent tax law changes. Currently, the rule states that you have to start taking your first distribution in the year when you turn 73. In 2033, the RMD requirement will change to age 75 for those born in 1960 or later. In the first year of RMD, you can delay it up until April of the following year after you turn 73. But if you do that, you have to take 2 distributions in that first year. There are huge penalties if you forget to take your RMDs, like 25% per year. So you want to be sure you get this right. Anyway, if you have a large account, those RMDs count as income and can bump you up into a bigger tax bracket. So there's some tax planning to do there as well. The next bucket is called a tax-free bucket. This is Roth money. If you recall, investing in a Roth account means that you pay taxes on that money at the time you invested it, but you never have to pay taxes on that money again. That means tax-free growth and tax-free distributions. Another great advantage to Roth money is that there are no RMDs. That means that you can leave all that money alone and let it continue to grow until you absolutely need it. If you never need it, you can pass that along to your heirs and they don't have to pay taxes on it either. That is not the case with tax-deferred money. Your beneficiaries will have to pay taxes on that at their ordinary income tax rate. Given that RMDs may increase your tax bracket once you start having to take those out and put you back into a higher tax bracket, there's a little window of several years after you have retired and your income is low and before the RMDs start. In this window, your tax bracket will probably be the lowest since residency, and it provides an opportunity to save on lifetime taxes through a process called Roth conversions. This is simply to convert pre-tax money to Roth money by paying taxes on it at the time of conversion when your tax bracket is low. And since you're taking money out of your tax-deferred bucket from which they calculate your RMDs, it will lower the RMD and may ultimately keep you from bumping into a higher tax bracket if you don't need the money. So it's a good deal all around. All right, the final bucket is taxable money. This is money that you have in an individual brokerage account, a bank account, a money market account, CDs, etc. The gains and losses on that money are taxable events every year when you sell the investment or earn a dividend. The good news is that as long as you hold the investment for over a year, the capital gains taxes are frequently lower than your ordinary income tax rate. The other good news is that money is totally flexible. You can use it at any time and don't have to wait until you're retired or over 59 and a half. Some people earn and save enough money that they've already filled up their allowed contributions to the other 2 buckets, and only their taxable bucket is available to them. those people ultimately may have a much larger taxable bucket than the other two. Most of the time, the most tax efficient way to withdraw your retirement money is, rather than just taking a little bit out of each bucket in equal percentages, you take it out in order. So first from the taxable bucket, then the tax deferred bucket, and you leave the tax-free bucket for the last. That is because the Roth money will continue to grow tax-free forever. There are exceptions to this rule depending on individual circumstances, but it's a good general rule of thumb. All right, let's talk for a minute about Social Security income. Most U.S. workers are required to pay into the Social Security retirement program by paying taxes from their wages while working. You're eligible for Social Security if you worked and paid into the system for 10 years or more. The amount that you'll receive after you retire depends to a degree on how much money that you earned during your working years, although there is a cap on that amount. The Social Security system currently considers age 67 as full retirement age. They will calculate a monthly benefit for you based on that age. You can start taking your benefit as early as 62 or as late as age 70. If you take it early, you get less money per check. And if you take it late, you get more per check. It's 8% more per year if you wait. So if you wait until age 70, your retirement check will be 24% higher than it would have been at age 67. The penalty for early retirement is a little bit more complicated, but can be up to 30% if you were born in 1960 or later and take your Social Security starting at age 62. So it's significant. So for most of us, it makes sense to delay taking Social Security as long as possible if you're in reasonable health with a normal life expectancy. And remember that Social Security should be considered a supplement to your own retirement savings, and you should not rely on it to create a healthy retirement lifestyle. It will certainly not do that. Take control of your own retirement and you will be much better off. Finally, there are some other options and sources of income that you can tap into in your retirement years. A big one is your house. There's a reasonable chance that you no longer carry a mortgage on your home and that there's been a long period of appreciation of its value. So it may be a big chunk of your net worth. And it very well now be more a house than you need or want, along with all the maintenance issues and yard care. Many retirees sell their family home and move to somewhere smaller. That could be a great new bucket of income for you to spend down or invest in a more accessible way. Some people also receive money in retirement from a pension plan instead of a defined contribution plan like a 401k. A pension gives you a monthly check for a given period of time, often your lifetime, and frequently continues to give at least part of that to your spouse after your death. Some people really like having a fixed income guarantee so that they can budget around it and know exactly what they have to spend. There is an insurance product called an annuity, which trades a lump sum of cash for a fixed paycheck. I won't go into the pros and cons of this approach other than to say that these are commonly sold to seniors. If you want to consider an annuity, I would just recommend that you talk to an independent financial advisor who can give unbiased advice, not one of the salespeople who profit off your choice. Okay, that is the end of this lecture about retirement and about how to start spending all that money that you've worked so hard to save and invest. Hopefully you will have created and stuck with a solid written retirement plan and have utilized all the skills that you've learned through this course on financial literacy. Keep in mind that just because you made it to 65 or whenever you choose to retire, you're not done. You may still live for another 30 years. Continue to invest and continue to make smart choices. But now those choices should really be about how to make the most out of your life and to enjoy the fruits of your labors. I hope for that for all of you. Thanks for joining us. Tell your friends, hit like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.